Just beyond the edges of Stockholm, nestled deep in the wilds of Swedish Lapland, Erik Lennberg lived alone in a small wooden cabin. That morning, the thermometer outside his frosted window read below -40 degrees Celsius, a brutal chill that bit through even the thickest walls. From the north, a raging snowstorm was rolling in, carrying with it the promise of bone-deep cold and unforgiving winds. Erik Lennberg was no stranger to the unforgiving grip of winter. As a seasoned wildlife photographer, he had braved countless storms. But something about today felt different, more intense, more uncertain. His cabin, tucked deep within a sprawling forest nearly 5 hours from the nearest city, stood alone against the frozen landscape. The weathered wooden walls had survived many winters, creaking under the weight of snow and time. Years ago, Erik had left behind the noise and rush of Stockholm in search of solitude, craving the quiet wisdom only nature could offer. Here, surrounded by wilderness, he had learned to read the land, to listen to its silence, to respect its rhythms. Each morning began with a ritual, checking the weather radio and taking stock of his supplies, a habit born of necessity. That morning, the wind howled louder than usual, shaking the tall pines that towered outside his cabin. Without hesitation, Erik wrapped a thick woolen scarf around his neck and braced himself for what was coming. Inside, the walls were covered in memories, photographs of wolves, deer, and bears from his journeys across the wild, each image a story frozen in time. The photographs were a testament to his special connection with nature. The weather warning system had just announced that the storm would last at least 12 hours. Erik knew that in these conditions, anything could happen. He carefully checked the cabin's backup heating system and generator. Every step of his preparation reflected his respect for the power of nature. Outside, thick snow covered the ground, creating an icy blanket. The wind blew hard, causing the weak branches of the trees to snap under the biting cold. While watching the scene through the window, Erik felt the loneliness of the Nordic winter. His mind became thoughtful as he recalled his previous encounters with storms. Suddenly, in the middle of the storm, he heard a strange noise from outside. The noise echoed through the howling wind and the heavy snowfall. His heart began to beat faster as he sensed the presence of something unusual. With his flashlight firmly in hand, he carefully walked out onto the porch. In the misty snow, 3 blurry figures emerged from the distant woods. He recognized them as a mother bear and her 2 cubs, struggling through the harsh storm. The mother bear looked tired and unsteady, trying to protect her weak cubs. The sight made Erik hesitate, as he was worried about the fate of the bear family. He watched their movements from afar through the cabin window. In the flashlight beam, he saw the mother bear's fur begin to freeze. The 2 cubs were also shivering from the biting cold. His heart sank as he witnessed this cruel scene of nature. Erik had spent many years studying wildlife behavior. He knew that a mother bear would never show weakness when protecting her cubs. But this time, the exhaustion of nature had left the bear family vulnerable. In the fierce storm, everything seemed frozen in time. Erik understood that if he did nothing, the fate of these creatures could be tragic. He had to make a difficult decision between intervening and not intervening. A wildlife photographer's duty is to witness nature objectively. But his compassion made him reconsider. Erik remembered his father's teachings about respecting the lives of all living things. He knew that nature never forgives carelessness. However, he felt that his heart could not be cold to such a heartbreaking scene. He returned inside the cabin, quietly thinking about his actions. After a few minutes of reflection, his decision formed in his mind. He would help the bear family, even though he knew this might put himself in danger. Erik opened the food cabinet and took out a few thick blankets and some warm water. He carefully wrapped the blankets and prepared to carry them out onto the porch. The wind outside was getting stronger, forcing him to fight against the biting cold. He walked out with slow but determined steps. Every step on the thick snow made him feel his responsibility even more. As he approached the bear family, He could clearly see their shivers. The mother bear was still standing in the middle of the snowstorm, her eyes following her cubs' every move. Eric spoke softly, trying to create a sense of security for the entire bear family. He placed a blanket over the weak cubs, hoping to bring them some warmth. The wind blew, causing snowflakes to flutter around, creating a scene like something from a fairy tale. The mother bear's eyes suddenly lit up, as if she recognized Eric, not as a threat, but as a quiet presence in the storm. For a brief moment, they exchanged a glance filled with understanding, a silent connection that needed no words. Eric made no sudden moves. He wasn't there to intrude, only to offer comfort to the struggling family. Slowly, gently, he stepped back, careful not to alarm her. Back inside the cabin, the soft glow from the storage room spilled out into the cold like a beacon of hope. He opened the door wide, letting the warmth drift into the frozen night. Blankets, warm water, and a few treats were neatly laid out by the entrance. An invitation, not a trap. With a quiet gesture, Eric offered the space as a temporary refuge. The wind still howled outside, but something had shifted. There was a flicker of hope. Cautiously, the mother bear began to move, guiding her shivering cubs toward the open door. One step at a time, they crossed the threshold into safety. Eric stood still, watching as calm returned to the scene, the wildness softening for just a moment. In the heart of the storm, he felt something sacred, the deep, unspoken bond between human and animal. A moment of peace, a reminder that even in the harshest places, kindness still finds a way. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.